What are some other benefits of managing a property effectively through and through? It's going to save you time.
And then in turn money, because I don't know anybody that pays cash for all the rehab. So you're borrowing money and you're paying somebody with how long you have your mortgage out. So the longer, quicker it happens, save money.
Money, quality of the project, which again turns into money, some way, shape, or form down the road with what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Hello and welcome to the FasterFreedom Show. My name is Sam.
And I'm Lucas.
Lucas Timothy Walls is in the house. Today we are going to help people that want to be rehabbers or understand rehabbing. So we are going to go over the order of operations when you're rehabbing a property. I think that's pretty important, good information for people.
Absolutely. I think presented on this in 2018 when I thought, oh, I had it all figured out. But I know a lot about it because I'm a project manager by trade and by degree, all that stuff. And it's super important. Even if you're not swinging the hammer yourself, you still need to know when and where to place your contractors to fix up your property efficiently and save you money.
100%. Managing a rehab the right way is huge. And this is why a lot of people, and one of the benefits of being inside our community is you get this handed to you. You're like, if you don't know this and you're listening to podcasts, we'll help you the best we can. But like amateurs, like figured out as they go, professionals have order of operations, scope of works, and like everything lined up to make it happen smoother, because the quicker it happens, the more money you will probably make. All right, okay, so order of operations. This is when you are, when you close on the property, that you can get some of this set up before. But when you close on the property, the first day that you close that, you get the keys at the closing table. What is the first order of operations when it comes to rehabbing? Timothy Lucas Walls.
Yeah, let's
the second.
Let's go a few days before you close.
Okay.
Real quick. So you got to get the utilities turned on, and whoever's selling it to you probably has utilities turned on, or may not. But the goal is to get the utilities transferred into your name from the previous owner, instead of the utility company coming out there, shutting off utilities, and then have to come back out there to turn on. It's a whole different process, and it could save you like a week worth of time if you can get the transfer instead of they shut it off and you turn it on. A transfer is usually just like a meter reading, and it just transfers into your name and the bill stops. When they shut it off, they physically have to go to the property, lock stuff off, do all that kind of stuff. So get ahead of that. Call at least 3 days ahead, let them know your closing date, and then they'll transfer into your name at that time.
I like it. Perfect. So the first thing you do once you close on the property is you go there with the keys and you secure the property.
Exactly. You get keys at the title company, hopefully.
Or sometimes they leave them at like a box at the house or something.
That's never a great, it's always something different. Either the seller brings like a keychain of like 40 keys, or there's a key behind a rock and bags. So it's always different. But like you said, we take a lockbox to the property, and that allows easy access for contractors if you aren't physically there. You can let people in and out as needed by giving them that code. So put a lockbox on the handle, put a key in the lockbox, and customize the code to whatever you want. A lot of people like to switch out the doorknobs too and change the key first day. I think that's a good option, because someone could always make a copy of the key that they gave you at closing and have access to it. So I recommend switching out the doorknobs and locks day one, and then putting that lockbox on.
Yeah, and you're going to want to, so basically you're just securing that property. It's yours now, you own it. You don't want people accessing it that you don't know, or that people that may cause harm, or somebody, you know, whoever else would access it. You don't want people in there that you don't know or want in there. So you're securing it for that purposes. But then also kind of buttoning up everything. I think the biggest thing to do is, you know, if there's a broken window, or if there's a hole in the siding or a hole in the roof, you need to get that stuff buttoned up ASAP, because you need to get your you need to get everything protected so that nobody's damaging it, and then no like natural causes are damaged, like wind, water, hail, snow, whatever it is. You need that whole thing buttoned up so you can start to go to work.
Yep, love that. Yeah,
that was 1/2. So what's 2 kind of? So
1, utilities, let's say 2, secure the property. 3.
Okay, well, yes. Well, and then just turning on the utilities is one thing, getting it transferred, but turning it on to see if there's a gas leak, if there's a water leak. So that's another thing. Is you don't want to, I don't need the water for a while. You don't want to, you know, decide not to turn on the water and then rehab and do a few things, and then, oh, let's turn on the water, and then there's a water leak and you just ruin what you rehab. Good point. So I think a big step, and I could be 1 or 2, either one, they can kind of happen together, is turning on all of these electric systems.
Yeah, so with water, it's interesting, because if it's a transfer, it's easy. But if some reason the utilities get shut off, the water company will come in, turn on. But if they hear water running in the house, they'll shut off and you have to recall again. It could be another week, 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks. So that's a challenge again if you don't transfer. On the gas side of things, they have to get in the house because they'll light appliances as well. So if there's any gas leaks, they'll find them then and they won't turn you on. And then you got to fix that before you can turn you on. But it's all part of finding those leaks to kind of get the house just functioning properly.
Agreed. 100p Walls. All right, so you secured the property, you got all the utilities on, you know if there's leaks, you got everything buttoned up. So the property is secure, nobody's getting in, you don't want to getting in, it's buttoned up and all the utilities are working. So what is the next thing you do, Lucas?
Yeah.
You make that canvas, make it a blank canvas.
Yeah. I would start with trash haul or clean out or junk removal. The majority of the time we buy a house, there's leftover belongings. Just the type of situations that we come across, whether it's a wholesaler or direct to seller, there's some sort of stuff left, whether it's furniture, dishes, personal belongings, whatever it is, you got to get that stuff out of the house. And sometimes it takes you doing that trash haul to even finalize the scope, to even know what you're going to do. Because a lot of times there's so much stuff you can't exactly see. So you got to get that trash out of there.
So step 1A is trash out, step 1B is demo, in my opinion.
Yeah, once you have that...
There's a difference. Explain the difference.
Yeah. Once you have that scope finalized, demoing is just like taking stuff that's part of the house, not personal belongings, off the house, like cabinets,
a wall,
walls,
maybe half wall.
flooring, stuff like that. So you want to finalize that scope first before you jump into demo, so you know exactly what you're doing to the house. Because a lot of times you might keep the kitchen cabinets, and if you just go tell your demo crew to go demo a house, then they remove a completely good kitchen. So that communication, finalizing that scope will be a big part of what you demo.
Yeah, and assuming that the house isn't a hoarder house, you should have a pretty good scope even before haul out. Not always. Lots of times we'll have houses where there'll be a bed and bigger stuff, but you can get a scope.
Yep.
We're moving, I mean, what would you say? Maybe I'm wrong. 80%, 85, 90% of our houses, the scope doesn't change after the haul out because it's usually not ridiculous. But sometimes it does, but a majority of times it wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say so.
So majority of the time you get that scope of work kind of before you do all this.
For sure. Then go into demo, and ideally it could be that same crew like you're talking about. If you have that scope finalized, they can get the personal belongings out, and the same crew can go in their demo, and they can use the same trash trailer or dumpster to put all that stuff in as well, so you don't have 2 separate trip charges.
You don't want that. You don't want trip charge.
Efficiency's here. Saving $500 here, $500 here, that stuff adds up.
That's $1,000.
Yeah.
That is. Okay. So step 3 is demo, clean out, depending on the order, exactly how you do it. All right. Step 4, what do you got, Walls?
Step 4, step 4 is framing to me. And that's if you're, let's say you're, opening up a kitchen or finishing a basement, or maybe there's some damage framing. You got to get that framing right, which, your 2x4s, whatever that is, before you go into your next step.
Okay. And then next step is getting some rough-ins and things like that.
You got it.
Okay.
Talk about what that is.
Yeah, so rough-ins are like, if you're going to be moving a kitchen or putting in a bathroom or doing something, you need the electric and plumbing work done. You don't want people coming in, ripping into walls, possibly, turning on a new valve here or there, or putting a shark bite on something to where water could get you. You want there to be, because stuff happens, paint gets spilled, water gets spilled, but you want that all happening when you don't have any finishes in. Sure. So at this point you are roughing things in, and I think they're the same step. We're kind of have 1A and 1B in a lot of our steps. I think step 1A is kind of, if you demo things, just if you rip cabinets off the walls,
reconfigure.
Potentially, even if you're not reconfiguring, you ripped off some extra drywall or ripped off some of the framing or electric, whatever it is. So as you're doing damage to the house, you need to button all that back up with some framing, as well as getting some things
For sure.
in.
Most systems of a house, mechanical and plumbing. So that's
Talk like an engineer.
Mechanical is all your water supplies, your water drains, and also all your HVAC supplies and HVAC returns, cold air returns, and then also your electrical. All of that stuff is behind the drywall, usually, embedded in the framing. So you got to get that done before you go button up anything.
Correct. And then that leads to the next step, is to fix that drywall. You need to get everything fixed and repaired and sanded, and if there's like gashes in the wall or punch holes in the wall or anything, you want to get all that stuff kind of buttoned up and repaired or replaced, because when you put in drywall, you mud, you sand, or you get drywall, you put it up, then you mud, then you tape and sand, and there's sand everywhere, and there's debris everywhere, and there's just the whole house turns like a little dust everywhere. So you want to get all that done when there's not flooring sitting in there, there's not, you know, cabinets, there's not paint on the walls. You want to get all that cleaned up.
Yeah, at this point, depending on how much drywall work you really do, you're prepping the walls, the surfaces for paint.
Your name's
what
Walls.
You're doing. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, man. It is. So you're getting it ready for paint, and the better prepped job you do up front, the easier it's going to be and the faster that paint's going to go, and it's going to look better at the end. If you don't do a great prep job and you go ahead and paint, it's going to look terrible. Then you got to try to prep on top of a coat, and it's just a lot harder. So if you get that done right up front, it's going to make your paint go much smoother.
So let's kind of recap. So step 1 is securing the property and turning on utilities. Step 1, 2, clean out demo, then drywall, or then framing and rough-in, then drywall repair. And step 6 is going to be to paint. This is your specialty.
Yeah, we both painted a while.
We did.
So a lot of stuff to paint in a house. When it's just the walls, it's pretty easy. But normally it's ceilings, it's walls, it's baseboards, it's trim, doors, it's a lot of stuff. So what kind of order would you say, sub order within that paint category would you paint first?
I would do top down. So if you're going to, be painting a ceiling, I would do that. Hopefully you don't have to cover the floors or you can, but if they're going to be replaced or if they're concrete. So you just paint the top down because paint tends to kind of go down. So ceilings, then walls, then baseboards, and then in between you can kind of do trim and doors depending on if you're replacing or what you're doing. So
yeah, I think
that's the order I would do it.
Yeah, I would go just a little different. And before you paint, there's going to have to be a lot of prep involved in that, not just the walls, but taping stuff off, masking stuff off, because when we'll go ceiling first and we spray the ceiling usually, and then it gets on the walls, that's okay because we haven't painted the walls yet, because when we go to cut in that ceiling line, you're good. When your boy
cuts in, cut in master.
So I would do ceilings first, but then I would jump down to baseboards if you're not replacing. If you're painting them and they're on the wall already.
You're gonna spray those things?
I'm gonna spray those things too.
What if someone doesn't have a sprayer?
Someone doesn't have a sprayer, roll the ceiling first, and it's use a little roller on the edges, and it's going to get on the walls too. That's fine. And then I would probably, what would you paint next? I would paint the trim still.
Yeah, because you can just get a big old fat brush and get it up on the walls again, which is okay because you're going to be cutting that in.
And then I would cut in the lower edge on the wall there.
So are you painting these baseboards like with carpet as well, and you're just painting them with a brush, or are you taking those off when you've got carpet, or are you never saving the carpet that you have in these houses?
Yeah, so
rarely.
Two questions on that, Shano. I would say to ask yourself is, are the baseboards in good shape, number one, and then what type of flooring is going in? Because when you put in carpet, you leave a gap on your subfloor. And you install
fingers, about half-inch gap.
And then you install the carpet after the baseboards are in place.
And you ding up the baseboards a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, you might have some paint touch-ups there.
But what if the carpet's already there, Walls?
If the carpet's there, you're probably not keeping the carpet. And if the carpet's already there, we'll probably try to keep the baseboards. If the carpet's in good enough shape to keep, probably so are the baseboards. But if you're installing, say, luxury vinyl plank, where luxury vinyl plank was, you have an opportunity to keep the baseboards. But if you're installing luxury vinyl plank where carpet was, you got to remove those baseboards because there's going to be a gap.
And some people you do quarter round or things like that. But yeah, you have options. So
quarter round's more expensive than the damn baseboards.
It is usually.
So,
and that's why we're this is just proving the point of we have an incredible community and systems and processes and coaching, but every project's different. That's why people usually lean on a coach, because we teach people how to get properties, but each rehab is going to be different. So that's why having that hand holding is nice. And the other thing, Shane, is if it's in really good shape and it's a quick flip and the carpet and baseboard are good and you're painting the baseboard, there's tools and stuff you can use, almost like a long skinny piece of metal that pushes the carpet down and you can just paint over it. So there's ways to do it. So
or just mask it all off. That's good. And we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but if you are doing new baseboards, you'll want to paint those before they go on.
Correct.
And then you'll install them. You'll have some nail holes that you can just go touch up with either caulk or a little bit of paint.
We're professionals. I like it. All right, so we're painting, and then again, we can go over there's different finishes. I feel like we're going pretty deep into this, which Luke knows nothing about. But if you're doing paint, you're probably going to want to do different finishes for different types of materials. Like your baseboards and doors they get touched and kicked and stuff, so they're probably going to be gloss or semi-gloss. All right, so we got the painting, but in general, you skipped. I liked your little take of the baseboards, but like you kind of work your way top down. So now that the paint's done, flooring is a good thing to do next, because you don't obviously want to do flooring brand new and then paint, because things drip and stuff. You can always clean it up. We painted plenty of houses that we didn't, that the flooring stayed there, but it's a pain in the butt to have to drop cloth everything. So now you're onto the floors, right? That's step 7.
Yeah, that's well said. The only caveat to that is if you're refinishing your hardwood, we like to do that before we paint, because 2 reasons. You kind of bump up against the baseboards and maybe even stain the baseboards a little bit, and it gets dust freaking everywhere all over the walls. So you're gonna have to clean all your paint that you just did if you refinish after you paint.
I know some people have those like sanders that kind of catch the dust, but they don't always work. Some gets out. And
But anyway, new floors like carpet and luxury vinyl plank or tile, now is the time after you paint.
And LVP has become more and more of a thing, I feel like. For a while it was kind of a scratch resistant thing people threw in rentals, but we had a $1 million house we just listed at LVP. I think LVP's become more of a, with technology and everything, it's become more of a commonly used thing that's considered nice, not crazy expensive, and doesn't scratch. Hardwood scratches, it just does.
Yeah, I put it in my house and it's been, coming up on 4 years now, and it's in great shape still.
Yeah, Lucas has a $7 million house with LVP, so that is.
But it's a nice house, and they have different levels of luxury vinyl plank too. Like if you go super thin, I don't love it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't wear well in rentals, and it doesn't match well with a nicer house. But you can go thick luxury vinyl plank, and it feels really solid when you step on it, and you get all the benefits of luxury vinyl plank, the waterproof stuff,
waterproofing, scratch resistant, all the things. All right, so we want to paint the floor.
Another caveat on floor, Sam, real quick.
He said caveat.
Don't do your carpet yet. Don't do carpet
until the very,
very end.
You'll have to touch up some baseboards, but that's a quick little couple hours for your painter or you to touch up the baseboards. Because carpet, when they kick it and use the tools, they will nick it up a little bit, but it's not horrible.
All hard surfaces do now, because that, when we get into the next step, that is what your cabinetry and other stuff is going to set on top of.
All right, so next is the laying the trim work, walls number 8. So cabinets, baseboards, if you haven't yet, countertops. Talk a little bit about some trim work, bro.
Yeah, cabinets. If let's say you're replacing the kitchen, you want that to set on top of your flooring. If you're replacing a vanity and toilet in a bathroom, you want that to set on top of your new flooring. It's all goofy if you just butt it up against it. It doesn't look good. It's not right. So get that flooring down first, and then come in with your cabinetry to set on. And then after your cabinetry is done, then you can go in with your toe kicks and your baseboards and all that stuff.
Can I put a caveat on that?
Yeah.
You want to get your cabinets in your kitchen as quickly as possible after the steps are over, so you can get your countertops measured.
Yeah.
They don't just cut granite based on your measurements. They send somebody out. They put a cardboard or whatever to measure exactly. I don't know what the material is, some type of plastic to measure exactly what to cut, because you only cut granite once.
Yeah.
So or any type of whatever you use. So that's the big thing, is you don't want countertops delaying your project, because they can be and have been in the past, depending on availability, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks out. So you get it as soon as you get your flooring done. At least get your kitchen cabinets in so that you can get measured and you don't have that delaying you.
So have those kitchen cabinets.
How's that for a caveat? You think you only got a fucking caveat? I can caveat too.
Caveat your caveat.
Yeah.
So have the kitchen cabinets there before the flooring's installed, ready to be installed. And as soon as that kitchen flooring's installed, or wherever you're putting countertops, get those cabinets in that next day, and already have on call your template for your countertops to come in after those are installed, because there's going to be a couple-week time frame that you can't do too much there, but you can work on these other steps that we're going to go through.
I like it. So we got the cabinets, we got the countertops directly after, and then kind of we're on 9. I don't see any notes there on 9. No caveats for you, Lucas. Is getting kind of some finished fixtures in. Talk about those.
Yeah, so that could be pretty much just like all your devices. So like all your, your switches, your outlets and associated cover plates, your light fixtures, in the walls, or I'm sorry, could be in the walls, but on the ceilings, and also like your over the light vanity light fixtures. You could probably hang your mirror at that that point as well. And then also your plumbing stuff, you know, put in your toilet. Now's the time for your faucets and your shower heads and stuff like that.
Yeah, we didn't really get into tile a ton. I feel like that comes like tiling for the walls in like the bathrooms and things like that. That can kind of honestly go after you paint probably, because you'll need a little touch up, but that could go anywhere from 6 to some of this stuff. Like we'll get into landscaping, obviously. Some of this stuff can kind of happen in multiple steps.
For sure.
When you say the word walls, are you ever thinking like I'm saying my last name, or do you just think of the vertical walls?
I don't.
You don't ever think like, it's your last name? You keep saying walls. I'm like,
It's pretty common.
Pretty conceited of you to keep saying your name.
I know. It's a pretty common word. Like if you said the word Primm in a normal sentence out, you would probably
Think of my name,
but my name's kind of out there.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we got those countertops, everything going. So fixtures, those are going in. Kind of a caveat here is, especially with the market moving forward, it was very rare from 21 to 22, like anything sold, it didn't really matter the condition. Now, and most markets, you want to differentiate yourself a little bit. So spending an extra $1,500 on a little bit nicer fixtures and finishes in your house can go a long way, as opposed to just, you know, just having it be normal stuff. And somebody walks in and they may like remember the vanity, or they may remember the light fixture, or like the cool sink feature that you did, a farmhouse sink and one of those cool like faucets,
like those touch.
Yeah, and that's
faucets.
an extra, you know, $800 compared to what you could do, and that might like, that's what people think about. And I just watched for longest time Fixer Upper. Remember Chip and Joanna like the other day, and like they did cool stuff like they do, but all the lady focused on was like the little like just couple accent pieces. That's what she loved about it. So I figure like people do that. So this is a pro tip more than a caveat is, you know, you can spend $2,500 on fixtures and finishes, but $4,000, spending an extra $1,500 above what you were going to spend may help you sell it quicker, faster. It may be the difference.
And if it's a faucet or a sink, make sure you understand what you're going to put in before you put the granite in as well, because that's going to dictate like how many holes they cut, how big the sink is. Is it 1 bay or 2 bays for the sink? So is it a farmhouse sink where it comes out, or is it a lay-in sink where you have granite on the edge? So a lot of decisions need to be made there before you get that granite cut. And yeah, mainly you're focused there on fix and flip, sell and retail, right?
Correct.
On the rental side of things, you want to put in fixtures that are going to last a long time, like LED light fixtures, your forever type light fixtures, and limit your ceiling fans, stuff like that.
Yep, I agree. So we always say we like to limit ceiling fans in rentals, just because the maintenance and the issues and everything that you don't want to have to come up. However, we have had, and just remember this from when I was involved, I don't know how often we do it. Every once in a while a tenant would like want a fan, and like if they were a good tenant or they were approving them and they wanted it, we would like, they would pay for the fan, we pay labor or something. Like we'd pay a little bit of money, but we wouldn't buy a $300 fan in space, somebody $500 to install it. We would split it with them if they wanted it, because it's obviously not required.
Yep.
Obviously having a working AC and heat, you don't need the fan.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Love it. All right, before we get into 10 touch-ups, once your countertops are in, now is the time to do your backsplash.
So would you wait to do, I guess it doesn't, like kitchen or the bathrooms, I guess you could do it this time. You could have a tile guy come do the backsplash and the bathrooms if you're doing tile, and sometimes you do tub surround, where you would do that when you installed the tub. But
So I would do that probably before fixtures.
Yes, the tub surround?
Yeah, tub surround and your backsplash. As soon as that countertops go, backsplash, then your fixtures.
I like it. Cool. I like it. That was a good caveat, Walls. All right, what about touch-ups now?
Yeah, so after all this work is done, after you painted, there's going to be some scuff marks probably. So these blue tape. So go around the house, little pieces of blue tape, put it on everything that you think needs touched up, and then you can, it's a good tool to help you visualize where it is, so you can remove the tape after you touch up, or for your contractor. So the blue tape touch-up, very powerful tool.
I like it.
Have you seen the videos where like contractor walks into a house and the whole wall is just filled with blue tape marks? It's like, these are the people you don't want to work with.
Yeah.
Those are pretty bad videos.
Yeah, I mean, either you have a very, 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 very picky rehabber, or your contractor didn't do a great job of protecting the walls as they finished up this project.
I like it. Okay, cool. Step 11, which I got a feeling there'll be some caveats in step 11. But step 11 is going to be the exterior. Again, if your roof is old and leaky, you're going to do that at the very beginning. This can happen anytime throughout the project. You shouldn't wait till the very end to replace the roof. You can, certain things, but this is can be done in the same time. I don't know what I'm looking for. But you can do a lot of this stuff. You can be painting the floors or putting in baseboards or demoing, and you can have the roof inside siding put on.
For
so
sure.
the biggest thing that's going to affect anything is if you're doing windows, because that will affect the drywall and the trim.
Yep.
So windows is really the main thing that
Yeah.
is going to affect the inside, but gutters, roof, soffits, fascia, none of that stuff should affect landscaping. None of that stuff should affect the inside.
I agree. So we like to try to find some nice weather days throughout the project that we can execute that. I would say one caveat to that would be the landscaping. We try to leave to the very end, regardless. Maybe the last 2 weeks of the
Want to
project.
look fresh.
I want it to look fresh. That fresh mulch, that fresh rock, those nicely trimmed shrubs, whatever it is. And a lot of times, like weeds grow up through there too. So you want to like limit that time frame
Or
for when you
smoke
do
'em.
landscaping.
No, different kind of weeds.
Do landscaping to when you go to market. You want it to be pretty close.
I don't think my mom listens anymore, so we just got to apologize to Shane's mom when we say something inappropriate. I think we lost Jill.
Shout out to Miss Hanky.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Hanky.
Let's go.
Let's go. I like it. And then again, similar with like decks and patio and concrete, that kind of stuff can go throughout the project at any time.
A lot of those times they're different contractors as well for like a deck than who's painting your house. So you can hire both those people at the same time. They can be working on the house at the same time and not interfere with each
Yeah,
other.
because you don't want like to have electrician and plumber there at the same time. They kind of drive each other crazy a little
Yeah.
bit, and they're different sides of it. But yeah, you can do any of the exterior stuff while any of the interior stuff, and you should if you want to get this project done quicker. So figure out what needs to be done and how you can swing it in. I agree. The only really thing that I would focus on wait till the very end would be landscaping.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, I mean, and in St. Louis, the weather's hot, cold, rainy, winters, like especially if we're doing a winter rehab. If it's a nice day, we're getting all the exterior stuff done, and if it's like really cold, then if it's a few weeks out, we'll still probably do landscaping to a certain degree. But yeah, you want to keep it as smooth and efficient as possible.
Yep, love it.
What do you think about that, Walls?
Love it. All right, now we got to get that property ready for listing.
Yep. Step number 12.
Ooh, 12th and final step, my
Yes,
friend.
the
Well,
12th.
there's probably more steps.
There's
after
12 days of Christmas.
this. There are 8 days of Hanukkah.
Correct.
Yeah, so to get the house ready for listing, that would be a fun picture to pop up. You jacked.
You get jacked in, go 370 pounds in freaking high school just going.
What was that, Stratton? He's like, you look like a high school quarterback.
Yeah.
That was funny. All right, so time for a deep cleaning at this point.
Which Lucas knows nothing about.
So we call it a construction clean. It's not your normal like residential clean. It's a deep cleaning. They're used to getting dust out of crevices that you wouldn't think that a normal house wouldn't have. So construction deep clean, could be $400. It's not
gonna
cheap.
It's gonna be all day thing. They're rolling up the windows whether you place them or not. They're getting the tracks all clean. They're digging into a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Dust, and fortunately it's not like gross like cleaning
Yeah.
a house after living. There shouldn't be like pee stains everywhere and stuff like that. But
Hopefully not.
there could be.
There could be.
Depending if your contractor has good aims or not.
Yeah.
But in general, it's just there's just dust and crap everywhere.
Yep, for sure. So that's important to get done pretty much right off the jump, and at that point you can stage it.
Should you stage your house?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I knew the answer to that. I feel like we used to go back and forth on it, but I feel like the last couple of years we're like stage your freaking house.
Yep, we have been. Yeah. If it's a smaller house that is a lower value, lower list price, then we might do like just a light decor stage. But most of our nicer stuff, all of our nicer stuff, we do a full stage with like a bed set and
In every bedroom,
yeah.
or just the master?
Mainly just the master.
And if it's
we'll put something in the other bedrooms, but not a full bed usually.
Yeah, and if it's a decently priced house, then you're gonna do the full thing, the master, like fake TVs on the walls, all that stuff. You want them to visualize them going there. I feel like there's probably a study out there that like if somebody sits down on a couch or kitchen table, the probability of them buying that house versus them not sitting. Even if there's seating available, they don't sit. If there's not seating available, nobody's sitting, obviously. But I bet there's some study out there of if they sit down in the house, the probability
Feels
of them
more like home.
They can just visualize them.
That's one big reason. The other big reason to me is even though it's a freshly rehabbed house, it's not perfect. So having the staging there helps draw their eyes and keeps it off some of the minor imperfections that you might have in the house.
Yeah, because your baseboards aren't going to be perfect. There's going to be a little gap. The house got a little hot, the caulk, there's a little crack in the caulk, or there's like a little piece of tape somewhere, or there's a little scratch here. So like you said, you're not hiding that. You're just like, don't focus on every little flaw. It's a rehabbed house. It's not, even brand new build houses, there's little stuff wrong. There's cracks and little stuff everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. And at that point, after your stage, you're ready for professional pictures, not iPhone pictures, not Samsung pictures, professional pictures.
Yes, you need to hire a professional photographer for rentals or flips, especially if you got like a similar feel to your rentals. You get this professional photographer one time, tenant leaves a year or two later, you can reuse those pictures, assuming that it's not like, it's in similar condition. So you can reuse those pictures multiple times for your rentals. And for flips, it's like a resume. People scroll through Zillow, agents scroll through the MLS. You want it to look really, really sharp in your pictures, and that will get, the resume is not to get a job, a resume is to get an interview, right? So pictures are to get people to visit your house, in the house, not buy the house. But they're very, very important.
Very important.
Cool.
You want it mini as bad as you can.
Write that down. That should be like a Van Wilder little meme pop up after I said that. Okay, cool. That's a good short.
Yep. And then you list it and hopefully sell it, and then you got to deal with all the inspections.
Yeah, let's not get into that right now. That's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. So your house is listed. We'll do inspections and what to do after the fact on a different one. So
you sell it, you go make 75 grand. It's super easy.
So easy, right? Nothing changes, no caveats, nothing. It's all simple. So that's again, I alluded to a little bit earlier. That's why a lot of people are scared to invest, because they don't understand the rehab process. But some of the best rehabbers I know aren't handy. And then also, that's also why a lot of people get support. Like communities, not worried about ours, but a lot of people get involved in community or mentorship. You can have your hand held, because every project's different. Shoot, if me, you, and Shane all went into a house, we would all have 3 different rehab budgets and all do 3 different things. So there's just so many choices to be made along the way. Most of them are inconsequential, but small mistakes can cost you a lot of money when it comes to rehabbing, and big mistakes can cost you a lot of money. So that's why having a second set of eyes on your deals is huge, and that's one of the biggest reasons why people get in our community is we're a second set of eyes for them.
And just knowing this process is going to make you that much more credible and powerful when you go in there with your general contractor and your other subs to execute this project. They're going to look up to you, they're going to trust you, and you're going to get better contractors that way as well.
I love it. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, comment with something you learned, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. We give away more free advice on how to create wealth based on things we actually do every single day than any other channel on YouTube. Make sure to share this with a friend, because our mission is to inspire you to think differently about freedom.